So I was at Victoria Station in February 1991 when there was a litter bin that contained a £10 IRA bomb, and I was affected along with 39 other people that day, and I lost my leg in that bombing. And then I had 3 years of very intense rehabilitation and some quite severe trauma as a result of that. And also became quite withdrawn because I was trying to work out what had happened and trying to work out where my life was going to go after that. So it was a tough time. I was in a very dark place for about 10 years probably, and I withdrew. I felt a lot of shame. I felt a lot of shame about surviving, and I felt a huge amount of anger for the person who'd been in between me and the bomb at first, because I felt very angry that he'd been in between me and the bomb and he'd not survived, and there were many times that I wished I hadn't survived. I'm thankful now that those days are past, that I'm not in that dark place anymore. It could have been an easy way to slip out, and I can understand people who don't want to live anymore, because I think we've got lots of templates for living up to a certain point, but then we don't know how to live anymore. And I think trauma strips us of the template for living. And I think that's probably what happens with a lot of the guys coming back from the army and from Afghanistan and what have you. I think they have been violated when they've been in action and they have no template to continue living. It's tough surviving, but I think we almost have to make a conscious effort to be invited back to life again. Because I think when we're traumatised, I think, or if the world does something to us that really knocks us off the rails, I think we lose the invitation for living in some way. And I wasn't willing to continue, and I wasn't willing to feel my body and to re-engage until I realised that I needed an invitation to come back to the table. And it was almost like the grace of forgiveness invited me to come back to the table. And how good is that? But it was years later that I came across the Forgiveness Project and actually wanted to become involved, because I was looking at all these amazing stories of Michael Lapsley and other people and Joe Berry, thinking, wow, I'd love to be with these people and love to share their generosity and their humanity and their willingness to hear the other side of the story. So that's what forgiveness is about for me. It's about putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and thinking, this could have happened to me, and this is possible that I could have been telling the story of the bomber. I could have been telling the story of the person who shot. I could have been telling that story because I could have been born into their bed rather than the bed that I was born into. So it's a great weaving of lives together, I think, the Forgiveness Project, that we can all have a chance to glimpse into each other's experiences of life. I think the whole issue of forgiveness is a very personal matter, and it's not for other people to pass any judgment or to measure forgiveness or to say, have you forgiven yet? I don't think it's anybody else's business. I think it's a miracle when it takes place. I think it's an absolutely superhuman event that happens that shifts your body, it shifts your perspective, it shifts the way you see things. But I think it's a very personal experience, and therefore it's not for anybody else to comment on somebody else's forgiveness, their willingness or their ability. But I think it's a hugely powerful emotion or choice or whatever it is you want to call it.